Let the madness of predicting the offseason begin. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin. I think the Red Sox are going to be a pretty heavily predicted team this offseason, not just by me, but by a lot of professional journalists in the national media. And today we got our first one with Jim Bowden predicting who the Red Sox may sign. So what we're going to do, we're going to break that down and talk about whether or not we like this prediction. But before we get into the video, just a reminder, we have kicked off our Movember fundraising campaign. This is a campaign we do every November to help raise money to bring supplies and awareness to men's mental and physical health around the globe. This year, we're going for $1,500. To get there, I will be growing out a mustache. I know it doesn't look like much now, but it'll get there. And every $500 we raise on this channel, we are going to be giving away some really great prizes. So if you want to help us reach our goal, make sure you click the links in the description and the comment section of this video to donate today. Thank you all very much for taking a second and thinking about that, and of course, clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, we were talking about Jim Bowden's article in which he predicted what every team in Major League Baseball is going to do free agent-wise this offseason. This was released yesterday, and in this article, specifically for the Red Sox, he has them signing Jack Flaherty to a 3-year, $68 million deal, as well as Yusei Kikuchi to a 3-year, $42 million deal. Now, the first name on this list is incredibly exciting, right? Personally, I think Jack Flaherty is a great target for the Boston Red Sox. I know a lot of you guys and a lot of the fan base in general has Jack Flaherty at the top of their wish list, and for a pretty good reason. This year, he was extremely solid. He had a 3.17 ERA, tiny bit higher, 3.48 FIP, for a nice 1.27 ERA plus, about 27% above league average production on the mound. His strikeouts were up this year for the first time in 4 seasons. His walk rate was the lowest of his career, and he wasn't allowing a ton of traffic on the base pass in his start with a 1.068 whip. He does have an incredibly interesting history, though. There have been some years where there have been incredible seasons, especially his first couple of seasons in the league. He finished 5th in Rookie of the Year voting in 2018, then went on to finish 4th in Cy Young voting in 2019. The problem is there have also been some not great seasons as well coming out of Jack Flaherty. For example, 2023, where he had a 4.99 ERA with a 4.36 FIP with the Cardinals and the Orioles. Now, it seems as though when his strikeouts are up, his numbers are a whole lot better. Go figure, Corbin. Stop being an idiot. But it looks like Jack Flaherty really figured out how to get back to being a more strikeout-reliant pitcher, and that's helped his game a lot in this last season. I think that's a big point sign to, hey, maybe Jack Flaherty could be a productive player for this team. And I also think there are a couple other positives as well. He's not a super old pitcher. He's going to be going into his age 29 season, so a 3-year deal like the one that Jim Bowden's predicting here would have the Red Sox signing him from age 9 to 32. And in my opinion, that's a really, really solid age range to get a starting pitcher. I also think with the strikeouts that have come this year, and with the fact that he is walking less players and his breaking balls are some of the best in Major League Baseball. I mean, his changeup and knuckle curve this season were basically unhittable. In the Andrew Bailey pitching lab would be absolutely fantastic. What we're talking about here is the potential of a legitimate workhorse style guy at the front of this rotation. Now, obviously, there is an injury history here with Jack Flaherty, and that's to be expected. Like we've been talking about leading up to this offseason, basically every pitcher that's going to be available, trade or free agent, has some sort of injury history, so I'm not going to harp on that too much, but it is absolutely something to take note of. I think it's a little bit less of a blaring red flag on Jack Flaherty with the age that he's at right now, but it is definitely something to take a look at. Now, specifically, talking about the contract itself, 3 years, $68 million. I think that's kind of the perfect range for the Red Sox if they were going to sign Jack Flaherty, right? The Red Sox over the last couple of years have been pretty publicly shy to go anywhere near a long-term deal for a starting pitcher. This would be sort of getting a starting pitcher in basically the prime of his career, which is absolutely fantastic. The contract breaks down to about $22.66 repeating million dollars a year, which I don't think should be out of the Red Sox budget, right? I know a lot of people are immediately going to say $22 million. No way the Red Sox Sox spend on that? Well, they're a big market team, and despite what they've done over the last couple of years, they damn sure should do something like that. So it should be in the Red Sox budget coming into 2025. My only concern with this prediction is that Jack Flaherty really played up his contract here, right? He went in there and he proved he could be a top of the rotation type talent. He may be looking for something a bit more secure in the long term, maybe 5, maybe 6 years when it comes to what he's officially going to put pen to paper on. And then the question becomes, is that something the Red Sox are willing to go to? Are they willing to, like we've been talking about, take that extra step forward or go that extra mile to get some of these deals done? I don't really know, but I do like the idea of the Red Sox signing Jack Flaherty. I've liked it for a while. I like it even more now that Jim Bowden's put it on paper. Now, the other guy we have to talk about is the other player that Jim Bowden predicted in this article, and that was Yusei Kikuchi. Now, personally, I don't know about Yusei Kikuchi. I think there are some things that would make sense for a fit on the Boston Red Sox. The first, obviously, being that he is a left-handed pitcher, right? The Red Sox don't have any left-handed starters or any left-handed starters coming up through their minor league system that are relatively close to the major leagues. This would fill a fairly big hole. The other thing is that Yusei Kikuchi has been fairly solid throughout his major league career, especially when it comes to health. He's been pretty good at being able to stay on the field, and I think that's a big positive, especially with how the Red Sox have dealt with injuries over the last couple of years. Now, I will say in terms of performance, there's some sustenance there left to be desired because in 6 seasons, he has a 4.57 ERA with a 4.53 FIP. There's a lot of contact when he's on the mound, which leads to a whole lot of traffic and hits, specifically leading to a 1.344 WHIP and an overall 91 ERA plus, basically 10% below league average production. But still, it looked like he really found some after the deadline this year. He was traded from Toronto to Houston, and since getting to Houston, he put up a 2.70 ERA in 10 starts with a 3.07 FIP. In that time span, he was striking out more dudes than he ever has. He was walking less dudes than he ever has, and it led to a 1.47 ERA plus. 47% better than the average pitcher in Major League Baseball. Maybe that's something that he can build off of here in Boston. Again, you look at it and you say, okay, yeah, I think there's some logic to bringing in Yusei Kikuchi because he is going to be a consistent left-hander. Now, the problem is, in my opinion, the consistency that you are going to get. Is this someone the Red Sox will look at and say, yeah, we see some things that he did really well in the back half of 2024 that we think he'll be able to replicate here for the Red Sox in Boston over the next couple of years? The other thing I get nervous about with this deal is just the deal itself. 3 years, $42 million is about $14 million a year, and that's not a ton of money, especially for a starting pitcher on the free agent market. But at the same time, too, you're going to be getting him through his age 37 season. You'd get him from 34 to 37. Is there going to be a decline in statistics or a decline in stuff overall? And what is that going to look like in basically the second and third year of this contract? That's what makes me absolutely nervous about Yusei Kikuchi. And the other thing is that if the Red Sox are going to get 2 starters here, one person in this rotation already is going to have to go. When you look at Kikuchi, is this someone that you would kick a Bayo or a Giolito or a Crawford into the bullpen to put into this rotation? To be honest with you, I don't think my answer is yes. So taking a look at this prediction overall, I think there's a couple of really important things that we need to note before we make a final decision on what Jim Bowden's actually predicting. I think the first thing is that it is simply a prediction, right? Maybe he is going off of maybe a little bit of rumblings he's heard in the preliminary days of free agency, but overall, this is a lot of this guy makes sense for this team, this guy makes sense for that team. Let's just go ahead and put them on that team, right? It doesn't totally link either of these guys to the Boston Red Sox. The second thing and biggest part of this, in my opinion, is that he's not taking into consideration trades that could be made. Yes, the Red Sox are probably looking for a left-handed starter. Does that mean that, hey, they aren't going to shell out the money for free, so it must be Kikuchi? I don't know. I honestly don't think so. Taking a look at the predictions overall, though, understanding those two factors, I still really like the idea of Jack Flaherty. I know there are some concerns here. I know there were bad moments in the playoffs that we need to talk about, but there were also really good ones as well. And if the Red Sox were to get him and put him at the top of this rotation to pair with Tanner Houck, I think that'd be a really decent duo and would really elevate this Red Sox rotation, which is what we're looking for them to do. We know that they have potential depth in this rotation. They don't have a ton of the top tier talent, and I think Jack Flaherty could be that guy. I'm just not sold on Yusei Kikuchi being a Boston Red Sox, just simply because I think if the Red Sox are going to kick out a guy like Cutter Crawford, it should be for someone who is going to have, at the bare minimum, better potential than what Cutter has, and that's going to be a little bit difficult to find. There are some options on the trade market. We've talked about a couple. There's obviously a big fat lefty sitting in the free agent market that would certainly do that, and I think if the Red Sox are going to do that, they need to aim their sights a little bit higher than what Yusei Kikuchi could end up bringing. That doesn't mean I don't want him on this team. I just think if we're taking a look at the roster, is it the best fit for where the Red Sox are trying to go? I personally don't know, and I think that's why I'm sort of sitting here on the fence of this sort of prediction. Would I be upset if this is how the Red Sox offseason went? Honestly, I don't think so, right? I think if you get the right pieces, it could work over the next couple of years. But would I honestly sit here and say if the Red Sox signed Jack Flaherty and Yusei Kikuchi and called it an offseason, that they would be a team that I would be confident in saying, yeah, this is a team contending for a title? I just simply don't think I would be able to do that, and that's what's really holding me back from really liking this prediction from Jim Bowden. I would love to start seeing some predictions of, yeah, the Red Sox are going to put their balls to the wall. We're attaching Max Fried, or we're attaching Corbin Burns, or a big trade or something to this Red Sox team. This sort of high middle tier is great. Jack Flaherty is great, but also their supplemental move being this sort of mid to low tier, I don't love that as much. So I guess the big part I don't like is the Yusei Kikuchi part, but maybe I'm missing something. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this prediction? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Is there something I'm missing with Yusei Kikuchi that you guys are like, Corbin, you idiot? Of course this is going to work because of this. Let me know all your thoughts on Jim Bowden's predictions in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps these videos out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you are enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you want to listen instead of watch these episodes, all you got to do is head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Sea Radio. Also, don't forget, we are still doing our Movember fundraiser. If you want to help us get there and possibly win some really cool prizes, the link to that will be in the description as well as the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.